Color and Color FX. Programming your own shows or individual light images is quick and easy to learn with Light Captain. Let's start with the programming of colors. In our example, we want to set two spotlights with LED color mixing together to red. First, we select the spotlights or groups of spotlights on the left that are to be set to red. Pressing the Color button takes us to the Color menu. Attention! If the selected device consists of several segments that are all to display the color, you should make sure that all segments in the AD range are selected. To set the color red, drag the slider labeled Red upwards. If the spotlight or the spotlight group does not yet respond, it could be that a section dimmer or the master dimmer has not yet been raised. The dimmer faders should be all the way to the right so that the spotlights light up in the selected color. In this view, only the colors and functions that the selected devices can execute can be edited. All other colors and functions are grayed out and cannot be edited. If we now want one more spotlight to light up in green, for example, we first deselect our devices that light up red and then select the device that should light up green. The setting of the deselected spotlights remains saved for them. The newly selected spotlight can now be set in color, dimmer, and shutter as before. Devices with a color wheel can be set using the last control labeled C wheel. If two devices are selected that have different color settings, a small X is displayed above the faders in this view instead of a value. This is not an error, but simply an indication that the spotlights used have different color settings. In addition to the fader, you can also use the value field above the respective fader to set the color. Simply enter the exact value you want to use. Alternatively, you can use the plus or minus at the top and bottom of the fader for fine-tuning. In addition to this view, there are other options for setting colors. We are currently in the fader view. The small fader symbol at the top left is highlighted in orange. Behind the next symbol is a color circle. To assign a color to the selected spotlights, tap directly on the color you want to create. Mixed values are also easy to select in this way. If you now click back on the fader view, you can see exactly which values correspond to the selected color. The next user interface is hidden behind the symbol with the colored boxes. Here we find color fields. These are the same color fields that we talked about in part 6 of our tutorial. If the color fields are assigned correctly, you can now easily control both spotlights with color mixing and with color wheel together. Attention! The last color field at the bottom right symbolizes UV, i.e. so-called black light. If this field is selected, only selected spotlights that can emit UV light will light up. All other devices go dark. The fourth button in this view is labeled Color FX. This is where you will find the color effects. Color effects can be applied to LED spotlights with color mixing. They can be applied to the individual segments of a device or to several devices. This means that you can also apply color effects to a KLS or an LED strip with several segments, for example. Behind each of the 6 numbered buttons is a pre-programmed color effect. Each of these can run in 3 different variants. These are labeled F1, F2, and F3 and can be easily selected. If you activate the Fade button, the transitions between the individual steps are displayed smoothly. FX speed is used to adjust the speed of the effect. If cues are also used later, color effects can also be applied over several cues. More information on programming cues can be found in parts 11 and 12 of this tutorial. When creating chases, you often work with small changes. For example, you take an existing color setting, change it a little, and save this new setting as the next step. However, if you want to start from scratch, you can use the Erase and Zero buttons. Erase resets all values to the stored default values. Zero resets all values to 0. It is advisable to use this function once before running programs so that no manual values distort the image. Edit Color FX. The Edit Color FX button is located under the Color button in the right-hand sidebar. In this view, the 6 color effects available in the color area can be edited. These 6 color effects can be found in the lower right area as numbered buttons. Each of these effects can consist of 6 individual steps. These individual steps are shown on the left-hand side under the name Steps. To see which setting is behind the individual steps, select the color effect on the right and the individual step on the left. The faders in the upper area now show which setting is saved here. The settings can be changed using the faders. Press Store in the bottom right-hand area to save the new setting. Tip: the buttons of the individual steps light up at the edge in the set color. For more complex color mixes, the border of the button lights up in color. As soon as the changed color effect has been saved with Store, it can be applied to the selected spotlights in the Color tab. The color effects can always be reset to their original state using the Reset function. You can give each effect its own name using the Name button. If this name is too long, it will be abbreviated in the display.